Sky Genie Entertainment presents the following. The Sky Genie Show is not suitable for children under the age of 18. It contains coarse language, sexual references, my own personal views and opinions. The characters of this show are fictional and are made for fun, not harm. I would like to thank you for listening to the Sky Genie Show. Oh my god. Johnny's alive. Johnny's alive! Hello and welcome to the Sky Genie Show. This is the worst show ever. We are finally on episode 61 of the Sky Genie Show. I say finally because, well, if you listen to the show in the past weeks, something happened with the first part of episode 60 that didn't end up getting put in, because I know I put it in when I edited it. End up doing a part 2, added it together, so that was episode 60. This will be 61. So I hope that clears everything up. Also, I am doing this a little bit early for people listening on Mixlr. Normally I'll stream this on a Saturday, but I'll be doing a few holiday editions. There'll be 3 holiday edition tapings on my Mixlr channel on Saturday with Johnny Florida, because that was the time he was free. And I'm trying to do 3 shows, 1 for next week and 2 for Christmas and New Year's week. So you can check out the live taping of the holiday edition. Now, I'm going to try and make them 30 minutes long each. Like this show, I don't like to go too long. This episode might not go very long either, because let's face it, a lot of shit will probably happen within the week and on Survivor Series, which I'll actually miss. But I will be doing predictions. I'll probably watch Survivor Series and, well, I'll watch NXT, but Survivor Series I'll watch later because I'm going to be out of town. Next week I would be back in time, but I figure, hey, let me relax after my trip to Sydney, and I really won't go back and watch Raw and SmackDown. But on this show will be NXT predictions and Survivor Series predictions. They'll be later on in the show. So it would appear that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are back to normal, as you would have seen SmackDown. They didn't seem to be punished, because the rumor going around is that they were in protest on what happened to Jimmy Jacobs and Neville. That's the rumor going around. Because if you remember the story, they were kicked off the European tour and that it was in Vince's hands. So I'm guessing this was all just a big issue. And what I said last week, which was probably the issue with Jimmy Jacobs, I didn't think the Neville thing, but that doesn't surprise me either. They were on SmackDown, they didn't really get buried, and it seems to be plans as normal. That I will get to in the Survivor Series predictions, not to give it away. But the other rumour going around is that Neville is supposedly in talks with WWE, and in talks of coming back within next month, maybe after Survivor Series, who knows. It would be pretty cool if Neville ends up joining Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and part of me is wondering if some of this may have been a work, because Kevin Owens is known for being controversial as a wrestler, and I'm hoping this is what WWE does with him, makes him controversial. With all this speculation and the internet to help, why not add Neville to the group with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, make a faction of guys that were excluded from the Raw and SmackDown teams. It'd be really cool if they added Jason Jordan, because let's face it, that segment on Raw sucked. And yes, I watched WWE. The reason why, I was interested in watching it. They changed the hand. I've been liking the build of Survivor Series, as I said last week. They've put a lot of effort into building Survivor Series, which I'm hoping is going to be a very good show. If this show delivers, then this will possibly be the best show that WWE has done all year. There's more effort in Survivor Series than there was WrestleMania and SummerSlam, even the Royal Rumble. And surprisingly, Survivor Series is usually the arse end of the big four pay-per-views. Half the time, WWE is always wanting to replace it. And holy fuck, did that WWE Championship have to change hands. Let's face it. And we'll get into this bit of news. The Indian tour, which was meant to be 2 shows, is now going to be 1 show. Me thinking this is why Jinder Mahal lost the championship. Jinder Mahal was made champion to draw crowds to the India shows. They did a previous India tour. Now, that didn't exactly sell out, but apparently they had pretty good numbers. But going into this event, I'm guessing that they didn't have enough ticket sales, and they decided not to go to this event. Now, people are saying, oh, it's because Jinder Mahal lost the championship. That's a bunch of bullshit. Because the thing is, when tickets go on sale, and I'm guessing tickets would have went on sale for this way in advance. It wouldn't have been within the last month. Usually when tickets drop for Australia tours here in Australia, it's usually around WrestleMania time, sometime after WrestleMania, that they start becoming available. So this would probably have been happening in about August. The reality is, they opened up the ticket places. They expected to sell out within minutes. They pushed and pushed and pushed Jinder Mahal to be champion, and let's face it, he's not getting over. I'm thinking the fact that he is actually Canadian, with Indian descent, may have hurt Jinder Mahal. Now, I could go on a whole podcast of how bad Jinder Mahal is. Yes, he sucks. I don't know the guy. He may be the nicest guy in the world. We could probably sit down, have a beer together, and we'll be best friends. But let's not pussy around the situation. Jinder Mahal is not a drawers champion. He was a jobber for so many years beforehand, and all of a sudden he wins 3 matches and he's WWE champion. And along the way as WWE champion, has not done anything to help Shinsuke Nakamura, who was really a hot act when he went into that feud with Jinder Mahal, and it reduced him to nothing. And I'm hoping that WWE is able to rehab Nakamura, because Nakamura was one of the greatest superstars in the history of wrestling. If you watch his New Japan matches, this guy was excellent. And I don't want to hear this, oh, he's from New Japan, of course you like him, rah rah rah. Fuck you. First off, if you're professional wrestling, you enjoy all wrestling. Yes, if shows suck and to the point they annoy the shit out of you, like Impact Wrestling, don't watch. If you don't like a show, don't watch it. Don't criticize it, don't watch it. Which is why I stopped doing WWE recaps and reviews, because I was always negative, and it was really boring. And who the fuck really wants to listen to this Jinder Mahal match? It sucked. It sucked ass. No one wants to hear that. I really think I went out on my way to revamp the show to have more talking in it instead of doing a formulaic bullshit thing. The one thing I have been hearing though, and reading up online, is that there are plans for AJ Styles to feud with Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, it would be really cool and it would actually help Shinsuke Nakamura if he was to win the Royal Rumble or the Elimination Chamber and face AJ Styles for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Think about it. They could go from semi-main eventing the Tokyo Dome to 2 years later semi-main eventing WrestleMania. I mean, that's pretty good. Not very many feuds happen like that anymore. There used to be a time when you would watch wrestling in the old days. You could have Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes. Let's use that for an example. That went everywhere around the world. Now you're lucky to have that anywhere. CM Punk, Colt Cabana. Okay, I'm not so big on CM Punk as a person, but as a wrestler, he had an awesome feud with Colt Cabana before he came to WWE, and that's what got him noticed. And I would really love to see a AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels match at WrestleMania, and Samoa Joe and Finn Balor. I mean, why not? Anyway, I'll end this AJ stick sucking fest because I'm guessing people might be annoyed with it. If not, join with me. I kid. I didn't talk about this last week. I don't know if it dropped. I've probably completely escaped my mind, but it was New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Kenny Omega is set to face Chris Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom for the United States Championship. I don't listen to my shows if I said it already. Too bad you're listening to it again, and I'm a bit more fired up this time. What I love about this is that for years and years, Chris Jericho has been saying that WWE is the best, the be-all, end-all, and says this and means it. And Chris Jericho is no stranger to Japan. I believe he's wrestled for New Japan Pro Wrestling, but I don't think he's done it full time. He used to work for the War promotion, which I believe was run by Tenryu. I think they did an invasion of New Japan in 1994, and I don't know if that was the last time he was in Japan, but it's not his first time in Japan, so this is actually a pretty cool thing. And I do hope this is not just a one-match deal. I hope Chris Jericho comes back to have at least a few matches there. You can imagine having someone like Chris Jericho at a Dominion show or a G1 or a World Tag League. I think it would have been really cool if they got Chris Jericho to do the World Tag League at the moment, because if you look at the lineup for the World Tag League, I plan to be watching. I'm not reviewing again, not like last year. They don't really have a lot of stars, star power on there, because they've got all the top stars already in big matches. Usually what they do with the World Tag League, they kind of have a few big stars smattered around it and build storylines around that, but this time they use undercard talent, which may be good and may be bad at the same time. I don't know. I like the look of Michael Elgin and is it Brian Cage? I've seen some of their work and they've been really awesome. I'd love to see the Young Bucks actually participate in this. I'd never seen them in the heavyweight tournament, but then I want to see them in the heavyweight tag team division, but New Japan for some reason won't allow it. And I might get on a New Japan kick here. People wonder, why should you watch New Japan? New Japan is different from WWE. It's not entertainment. It's not an entertainment brand. It's not going to go out and do suckets and do all these awesome promos, random returns. It's all about the action in the ring. If you like pro wrestling, then you'll love New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's presented as a sport. And if you watch a lot of old school matches, it's not that much different from when you watch places like in Georgia or Memphis or World Class. A lot of their shows were sport based. If you've never seen it, check it out. Anyway, after the break, more of the Sky Genie Show with the NXT Predictions. The Sky Genie Show will be back after the break. Can't get enough of the Sky Genie Show? Check out the website, skygenieshow.weebly.com. There you'll find links to past shows and much more. Go to skygenieshow.weebly.com today. Do you need more fruits and vegetables in your diet? Check out juiceplus.com.au today. Juice Plus is the convenient and inexpensive way to add more nutrition to your diet from fruits and vegetables every day. Juice Plus Fruit Blend is made from 7 different fruits. Juice Plus Vegetable Blend is made from 10 different vegetables, grains, plus an array of natural antioxidants, phytochemicals, and fiber in a convenient capsule form. Each ingredient is especially selected to provide you with a wide range of nutritional benefits. We call it next best thing to fruits and vegetables. Check out juiceplus.com.au today. For in-depth discussion and show updates, go to the show's Facebook at the Sky Genie Show page. For in-depth discussion on professional wrestling, as well as politics and the stupid laws in your state, check out Wrestling's National Committee with Johnny Florida, Old Man Jenkins, and Papa Dave Sensei, live on Mixlr on Tuesdays during SmackDown, or the after party of Wrestling Soup, and on Sundays. Check them out. You are listening to the Sky Genie Show. And we are back, and it's time for NXT Takeover War Games Predictions. First up, we have Cassius Ohno versus Lars Sullivan. Now, I've seen bits and pieces of Lars Sullivan. I think the dude is a hell of a talent for a big man. He does have really good promo skills, and can put on a decent wrestling match. He reminds me of a Dave Bautista a little bit. Now, I'm not saying he's the greatest in the ring. The guy's a little bit green. Batista wasn't exactly the best in the ring either, but he is someone that's actually enjoyable to watch. And Cassius Ohno, well, I'm a Chris Hero fan from a while back. People get on Cassius Ohno for his weight. But you know what? Fat or skinny, that guy could put on an awesome fucking match if he wants to. I think this is going to be a sleeper. The sleeper match, or maybe the unexpected match of the night. Not the match of the night, but the unexpected good match of the night. For my pick here, I say it's Lars Anderson. Lars Sullivan. Lars Anderson. See, I know old school wrestling. I watch a bit of old school wrestling. I watched a bit of Lars Anderson a few days ago. It was a rare match on YouTube, so that's in my head. But Lars Sullivan I think will come out the winner. Oh, let's get back on track. We have Aleister Black versus the Velveteen Dream. Oh, for everyone not familiar with the Velveteen Dream, he is the guy known as Patrick Clark from Tough Enough. I didn't watch Tough Enough either, and I have to admit I don't watch a lot of NXT on the weekly shows, but I always watch the takeovers because, let's face it, the takeovers are usually better than the main card. Even with weak cards. I don't expect this to be an awesome match. I can't really be fair to grade on the Velveteen Dream. He might be a really good talent. He would still be green, but then this is NXT. It's developmental. As much as Triple H wants it not to be called a developmental brand, NXT is the developmental brand. And he is getting into the ring with a guy like Aleister Black, who is known for going around the world and is a seasoned guy. My pick for this match would be Aleister Black, because I think that guy will be challenging the NXT Championship pretty soon. Maybe not Drew McIntyre, maybe Adam Cole, but we shall see. Sorry, had technical difficulties there. Drew McIntyre puts the NXT Championship on the line against Andrade Cien Almas. I have to admit, I have never been impressed with Andre Giannomas. I've never seen a guy as much of a star. He can put on a good match, but he's not particularly my taste. But I'm guessing this will be a decent match. But I'm going to clearly pick Drew McIntyre to win this match and retain the NXT Championship. Then, for the vacant NXT Women's Championship, we have Ember Moon, Kairi Sane, Nikki Cross, and Peyton Royce. Now, me thinking here, you kind of have to go. I think the favourite here would probably be Kairi Sane. The smart money will be to bet on Ember Moon. That means it's either going to be Peyton Royce or Nikki Cross. I think Peyton Royce will win this match. And the reason why I say this, you're coming off Asuka's reign as NXT Women's Champion, which was a phenomenal reign, and she went off undefeated. You kind of have to have that champion that sort of brings it down again. Not the value, but it should really be a heel. And I think the best person right now would be Peyton Royce. She could feud with Kairi Sane, she could feud with Ember Moon, she could feud with Nikki Cross, Ruby Riott. I think you have a lot more match opportunities with Peyton Royce as champion than you do with either Ember Moon or Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane, who is an excellent talent. I don't want her to be seen as the next Asuka, because she's not. She's not the same as Asuka. Asuka is a catch. She's someone that comes in there and kicks everybody's ass. Kairi Sane is somebody who's actually a smooth wrestler. She's probably a better wrestler than Asuka. Though I would love to see a match between Asuka and Kairi Sane at some point. But we shall see. My pick will be Peyton Royce. Then for the main event, it's War Games. It'll be the Authors of Pain and Roderick Strong versus Sanity's Alexander Wolf, Eric Young, and Killian Dane versus the Undisputed Era of Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. This is a tough one because this is not the original concept for War Games, and if you really think about it, War Games was never designed for the heel to win, but then this is WWE. I think if any group has to go over, it's the Undisputed Era. They're the new team, they need to be established, they debuted at the last takeover, and they really need that hot win. So my pick will be the Attitude Era. The Undisputed Era. And that is my predictions for Takeover War Games. After the break, my predictions for Survivor Series. The Sky Genie Show will be back after the break. For those wanting to follow me on Twitter, it's at SDD916. Check it out. For discussions and opinions on the events of professional wrestling, check out Wrestling Soup with Joey Numbers, Anthony Missionary Thomas, and John Draper as they break down what's good and what's bad in professional wrestling with a light-hearted approach. Thursdays, 9:30 on Mixlr, Saturday morning-ish, and after every WWE pay-per-view, you get a free post-show review. Check out Wrestling Soup, motherfuckers. Check out the Sky Genie Show on YouTube, Mixcloud, Vimeo, and DTube. Looking for a podcast instead of wrestling? And check out Get in the Corner with Dogger Baby and Yuck Nasty, 8:30 Wednesday night on Mixlr. You are listening to the Sky Genie Show. And we are back. And now it is time for Survivor Series predictions. We start off with the pre-show and the only championship match. It will be Enzo Amore versus Kalisto. Let's face it, nobody gives a fuck about 205 Live, except for people who go to see Enzo, whether to get beat up or listen to him. That's the only reason why you watch the show. Plus, Enzo has more money as champion than Kalisto. Let's face it, Kalisto sucks. Then we go to the main card. we have the Intercontinental Champion, The Miz, versus the United States Champion, Baron Corbin. Now, I think this match will be average at best. Miz is more known for talking than he is for actually wrestling. The way I see this whole card is pretty much going 50-50 all the way up to the main event. The main event is going to be the decider. For this match, I say Baron Corbin wins this match to give the win to SmackDown. Then we have the Raw Women's Championship, Alexa Bliss, versus the SmackDown Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair. Charlotte, this week on SmackDown, won the SmackDown Women's Champion to earn the right to face Alexa Bliss. This one again, I see going to SmackDown, so your winner will be Charlotte Flair, because let's face it, she had the 30 for 30 special with her dad Ric Flair. She just won the championship, and her jobbing on a pay-per-view wouldn't really do well, would it? Alexa Bliss at least held the championship long enough for her, so she could probably lose a match here. It won't hurt her. It won't hurt either of them to lose, but I say Charlotte goes over. Then we have The Shield versus The New Day. I don't think it takes rocket science to see that The Shield will be going over. They're not going to job to The New Day. They're not going to job on their first match back. Their first official first match back. Well, pay-per-view match, first match back. Let's face it, it's Roman Reigns. He ain't fucking losing. So The Shield goes over and Raw gets that win. At the moment it's 2 for SmackDown and 1 for Raw. We then have the Usos, who are the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, taking on the Raw Tag Team Champions, The Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus. I do have to say, Cesaro and Sheamus are probably the best thing to happen to both of their careers. Cesaro is in the WWE. He's probably the best talent, most underrated talent in the whole company, and yet he doesn't get utilized as much. Sheamus, however, is probably one of the most overrated talents in the company, and who gets pushed because he's Triple H's buddy. So it's an interesting dynamic. The wins here, though, I say it has to be the Usos. The Usos get that SmackDown win. That makes it 3-1. SmackDown 3, Raw 1. In my predictions. We then have Brock Lesnar, who is the Universal Champion, versus the WWE Champion AJ Styles. Now, I love watching AJ Styles. I love watching his matches. But he's not the guy to beat Brock Lesnar. And I was listening to WNC with Upper Dave and Jeff, and not to shit on them. They were saying how AJ Styles is the one to go over because he's the underdog babyface. And let's be real here. This is WWE. WWE does not book like it should. Brock Lesnar is going to go undefeated until WrestleMania. There is no way, no chance in hell that Brock Lesnar is losing a match to anybody, whether it's for the championship or not, unless it's to Roman Reigns. That's the plan going forward. That's why Brock Lesnar is champion. It's his last year on contract. He's going to put Roman Reigns over. That's it. I may not like it, you may not like it, but let's face it, let's be real. Let's be realistic. It's WWE. WWE logic applies. And call me an a-hole for even saying it. Come on. You all know better than this. So my pick is Brock Lesnar. We then had the women's Raw Survivor Series team versus the SmackDown Survivor Series team, with a to be announced because Charlotte won the women's championship. Now, everyone is expecting Paige, who was backstage at Raw taking selfies, and she was rumoured to be going on to Team Raw. I guess plans changed. I think the better fit for Paige would be on SmackDown, and SmackDown really needs a lot of heels at the moment. They don't really have a lot of good heels on SmackDown, and say what you will about Paige, Paige is money as a heel, and if she comes back and does the whole heel stick, because let's face it, Paige is an absolute cunt, a downright cunt, and I'm not trying to be negative, I'm just saying as I see it, she's a downright cunt of a person. It's easy to hate a person who's a complete cunt than a nice person. Now, on the other side you have Asuka. I think the right thing to do with Asuka is, as soon as the bell rings, she knocks somebody the fuck out. Tamina means nothing. How awesome would it be if Asuka got in the ring in the first 5 seconds, knocks Tamina the fuck out? And if it's the opening, if the women's Raw Tag Team match is the opening match, you could get the pop and people fired up. Because let's face it, how many times have you gone and watched the WWE show with the first match and the place absolutely died? Your first match sets the tone. And if you go in there with Asuka and she knocks somebody the fuck out, people are gonna pop. And you do it to the biggest person in the match. It's on the opposing side, and that would be Tamina. But as far as my pick for this, I would say Team Raw wins this because of Asuka. It should bring my total to 3 for 3. I wrote it down. Then we have the men's Survivor Series match between Team Raw led by Kurt Angle versus Team SmackDown led by Shane McMahon. Now, this match is going to be absolutely crazy. First off, Jason Jordan will cost Kurt Angle a pinfall in the match. That is how Kurt Angle is going to be eliminated. Now, I'm not saying Kurt Angle is going to lose the match because of Jason Jordan. On the contrary, I think Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to cost Team SmackDown the win against Raw. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens came off that Hell in a Cell match and is not put on the next pay-per-view. Now, wouldn't you be pissed off if that were you? And what would you do? Now, I saw on SmackDown when the Shield were coming down, both Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens stood in the ring, and then they just bailed. And I mean, why shouldn't they? They don't have any involvement in the match. You didn't include them, making them out to be baby faces. So my pick is for Team Raw. So Raw is going to win the Survivor Series night. That is my predictions for Survivor Series. Don't go away, because after the break, stupid shit of the week. The Sky Genie Show will be back after the break. Are you a person looking to get into media for work experience? Then sign up to Sky Genie Entertainment. Sky Genie Entertainment is everything the Sky Genie Show. From the channels to the social media page, marketing and advertising. This is strictly for volunteering. So if you're interested, go to skygenieshow.weebly.com, follow the link to the Sky Genie Entertainment page and click the link to the inbox where I will deal with you personally. On that page is a list of positions I am looking for. Check it out today. Do you need a good laugh after the crap you see on Monday Night Raw? Then check out the Don Tony and Kevin Castle Show as they break down Raw and current events in professional wrestling. The Don Tony Kevin Castle Show, immediately after Raw. Looking for a good wrestling podcast for Sundays? Because let's face it, who isn't bored on a Sunday, but also wants to have that lazy day? Then check out the Solomonster Sounds off. He breaks down everything that in the week that was professional wrestling. Also check out his Facebook page, where there's numerous discussions on the topics of professional wrestling. Solomonster Sounds Off drops every Sunday on Podbean. Hey, have you got a suggestion for stupid shit of the week? Then please send it to Twitter at SDD916. That is at SDD916 on Twitter. You are listening to the Sky Genie Show. Welcome back, and now it's time for
Stupid Shit of the Week.
This week's Stupid Shit of the Week, Jason Jordan. Now, I'm glad that I watched Raw for a number of reasons. But then I watched this, and I was happy because now I have something for Stupid Shit of the Week, because I think I'm going to do this show early and I won't have something, because usually when Stupid Shit of the Week, something breaks for Stupid Shit of the Week, it's later on in the week. Something probably will, but I've got something at least. Jason Jordan had a match with Bray Wyatt that he won, but was after the match was taken out and injured by Bray Wyatt. After it, Kurt Angle was forced to take Jason Jordan out of the match. And he came down crying and begging and pleading Kurt Angle to not take him out of the match. But then Triple H came out and said, "You're out, I'm in," pedigreed him and left him. Now, let's face the facts. And the thing was, the fans shit all over it. And we're chanting the goodbye song. Jason Jordan, awesome wrestler, probably has a phenomenal future. Bad place, bad timing, bad gimmick. That's why that man is not over. You can't expect him to be over. When you put him in an angle with Kurt Angle as Kurt Angle's son, that makes totally no sense with the fact that Jason Jordan is black. I mean, hello? Maybe the dead giveaway, if that's your son or not, is, the skin color. And I'm not trying to make this a racial issue, but come on, it's plain as day. People who are black do probably see this and say the same thing. And there's nothing you can say that will get me to think that him being Kurt Angle's son is okay. Now, it does look like it's leading to a heel turn, and it's found out that Jason Jordan is not really Kurt Angle's son. Maybe it's a ploy by Triple H and Stephanie to get him fired. Because if you remember, it wasn't Stephanie who hired Kurt Angle in the first place, it was Vince McMahon. The other thing, and this is the other part of Stupid Shit of the Week, Triple H beat up his son, and Kurt Angle did nothing. He was berated by Stephanie McMahon early in the night. He watched his son get injured and had to eat crow by watching his son get pedigreed in the middle of the ring, and did nothing to Triple H to rectify that. Kind of a shitty parent, if you ask me. But anyway, that is Stupid Shit of the Week. I'd like to thank you all for listening to the Sky Genie Show. Check out the many platforms on YouTube, DTube, BitChute, Mixlr, and Vimeo. Our website, skygenieshow.weebly.com. Facebook, it's the Sky Genie Show page. On Twitter, it's at SDD916. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you next episode. Bye. This was a Sky Genie Show production.